Welcome to the Truth Talks with Essex podcast, where we have vulnerable, transparent, and honest conversations. Whether you're tuned in via your favorite podcast audio app, or you're a visual person and you're tuned in to the video podcast, which is at YouTube. And if you search YouTube, Truth Talks with Essex, Truth Talks podcast with Essex, it'll come up, or you can check the links in the description below. However you're tuned in, I just wanted to thank you for being tuned in. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. If this podcast is helping you, subscribe and support. That's all I ask. The advantage of being on both is, audio is cool because you're in the car, you're at work, you're doing stuff around the house, you can listen. The video, I know for some, it just doesn't fit. But the advantage of being subscribed to YouTube is when we go live and we have live conversations where I bring you, the audience, into the Truth Talks podcast and we have a conversation. You'll get notified and be a part of that. But if you still don't want to be subscribed to YouTube, that's perfectly fine. We'll take the audio from that live podcast and upload it so you'll still catch all the content. This is just the intro episode, kind of explaining a little bit about why this podcast, why should you tune in to Truth Talks podcast with Essex. And the why is simple. I need, and I believe the world we all need some truthful conversations with everything going on. It's a trying place in the world today. And there's a lot of trials and tribulations. And what our current generations older than me, and those younger than us, they need to hear the truth. They need to hear us be transparent, and they need to hear us be vulnerable. And that's why I created this platform, is to have those type of conversations. I have a unique life. I'm biracial, father black, mother white. I have a rare autoimmune disease that I wasn't supposed to live to see the age I am today, and I'm sitting here. So I have just a unique perspective on life. I took the hard road early in my life. And so being transparent about all those things is super important to me because, one, I don't want nobody repeating my steps if I can help it. And then two, I want to be able to encourage, comfort, and at least let people know, hey, you're not alone. I know everybody got this representative we send out into the world, but let's come here and have real honest conversations and transparent and be completely vulnerable to let people know you're not alone, to feel comforted, just to feel encouraged or motivated. So a brief example of that I just want to run through real quick. My father, man's man, and my name on the podcast is Essex. My real name is Mark. Essex is my father's name, but I wanted to honor him while he was still alive on this side of heaven, give him his flowers while he's here. I believe he'll be here with us for a long time, but I wanted him to be honored in this way. My father was a man's man. So now he's way more expressive. He's grown into his old age very gracefully. But growing up, he was a man's man. And I think it saved my life that he was that way. But being a man's man in his day and age meant you don't be vulnerable and transparent. And my father broke that quote unquote man code. I dropped out of high school. I had like a couple classes to go. I think a half a semester. Lost my scholarships. It just was a mess. And we'll get into my entire life story. But I dropped out of high school, and I remember maybe a couple of months after I dropped out of high school, maybe even a year, my father came to me and said, I want to talk to you. And he said, I dropped out of school in the 8th or 9th grade, so you didn't have to drop out of school. And I worked my butt off because my father's been working since he worked from the time he was 15 all the way until the time he retired. And he's like, I worked my butt off. I did everything I could to put you in a better position. And now you're going to repeat my steps. And that talk, it wasn't long. It wasn't this huge emotional drawn out conversation. But that talk caused me to go back to school. I went back to night school, got my diploma because I didn't want to get my GED. I wanted to get my diploma. Nothing wrong with a GED. And then I went on to college, and now I work for NASA. And, that conversation spearheaded all of that because he chose to break the quote unquote man code and be vulnerable and transparent. And so that's what I want to be on this platform. I want to try to be that for as many people as possible. So you can tune in every Monday and Thursday. I'll drop a podcast. I don't have an exact time. I have 2 other podcasts and I work full time. So I don't have an exact time, and maybe we'll get in a rhythm where I can do the exact time every week. But every Monday and Thursday, you can be guaranteed to get a podcast. Now, the first episode coming out this Monday is I'll talk what it's like to be biracial in America. And I'll talk about because I went through, I would say, 4 phases. The first one was when biracialness wasn't accepted. The second one was when biracialness was accepted as a kid. And the third one was when biracial started to be accepted as an adult. And then the fourth one where it's starting to be, everybody's picking sides now. And so you're starting to feel the tension being a biracial person. So you can connect with us. You can connect with the brand. Like I said, I have 2 other podcasts. I have Church Talks with Pastor Mark. I talk about my life as a pastor and about the church and the state of Christianity. And then I have Couch Talks with Mark Anthony. And that's about sports, TV, and film. Fun podcast. You can get the links in the description. You can search your audio podcast. Go to YouTube and search Church Talks Podcast with Pastor Mark or Couch Talks Podcast with Mark Anthony. But the first episode for Truth Talks will be about being biracial. And I hope that it's impactful. I hope that this platform in itself is impactful. And plug again, don't forget this Monday, new podcast about being biracial in America. But continue to connect with us. One Man, the number 3 podcast.com. So www.oneman3podcast.com. Or you can get with me on any social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. The username is One Man, the number 3 podcast. So I hope you'll connect with me, interact with me if you can, subscribe, and I can't wait to continue to see where this platform takes us all. So it's an honor to have your ear and your time. So until the next episode, stay truthful and stay blessed.